Apple's 16-inch MacBook Pro is finally here, and it honestly seems like they created this with the content creator in mind, because out of the box, this unit that I have right here is really well spec'd out. So as somebody that enjoys creating all kinds of online content, having a solid machine like this is crucial, obviously. So was spending $2,300 plus for the entry-level 16-inch MacBook Pro worth it? Let's go ahead and discuss. So this machine retails for about $2,400, but as the time making this video, you could get it for $23. That's the price I paid for mine, and check the link to see if this sale is still going on. And the specs that this machine has is quite impressive. For example, it's using a 9th generation Intel i7 6-core processor with 16 gigabytes of DDR4 SD RAM. It is using a dedicated GPU like the other larger size MacBook Pro models, as it's equipped with an AMD Radeon Pro 5300M. And before I pulled the trigger on this machine, I did a lot of research on its Geekbench scores, and scores overall really impressive. And then unlike other MacBook Pros, this one out of the box has a 512 gigabytes of SSD storage. Now, though this is the larger 16-inch model, my biggest concern was this gonna be too big? Will I still be able to take this on the go and rest this comfortably on my lap? And the answer to that is yes. In fact, I'm able to fit this inside a 15-inch MacBook Pro sleeve just fine. I can also still fit it in my backpack that I had for the 15-inch MacBook. This is probably due to the fact that the 15-inch model of these latest generation MacBook Pros wasn't exactly a 15-inch screen. It was actually 15.4. So between these two models, there's only a 0.6 difference in screen size. But with this larger display, there is more pixels, so it's gonna have obviously a larger resolution compared to the 15-inch, but nothing major, because it still is using the same Apple Retina display that we all know and love with True Tone technology, and the color accuracy when I'm editing my stuff is really accurate. Still one of the best screens on a laptop in today's market. And then this new speaker setup, as you may already be aware, sounds excellent. It's really just the base that got improved. Other improvement is the built-in microphone, which is good. Compared to the previous microphones that was found on older MacBooks, I definitely utilize this, especially when I receive an incoming call, but I know for a fact this microphone won't replace like an XLR studio microphone. It's a step towards the right direction, but not there. What we could have got instead was an improved webcam. That's right, this machine is still using the standard, I want to say 720p resolution webcam, which Apple has been using on their Mac for nearly a decade now. I would have preferred that instead of the speaker upgrade. Now let's go ahead and chat about the battery life of the 16-inch Mac. For my first week of ownership, my experience with this machine is like this. When using this Mac for productivity, when I'm editing or working on some kind of project with this machine, I feel like under a full charge, I'm able to get up to 3 to maybe 4 hours of battery life. And when I'm simply just browsing the web, watching YouTube videos, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Thrust, I feel like I could easily get close to 7 hours of battery life. But I haven't once came close to the 11-hour battery life mark that Apple has been listing this thing to have. It is said that this is the largest battery that any notebook Mac has ever had, as this thing actually has a 100 watt-hour battery, which is the largest of them all, and it barely meets TSA standards to allow this to actually aboard an airplane. But even with the world's largest battery, I have not yet came close to achieving the 11-hour battery life. My average has to be roughly around the 5 hours. But even with that massive battery, if you're working on the go, I would recommend to carry the 96 watt power adapter with you, which can be charged on any of the 4 USB-C Thunderbolt 3 ports. Which, let's go ahead and talk about this. On one side, you still have the audio jack, and right below that, you have 2 USB-C ports, 1 on each side, just like all these latest MacBook Pros. But with the additional space on the unibody, it would have been nice if they actually squeezed in an SD card reader for once. I mean, there's more real estate space. That would have been an awesome innovation, Apple. Now, the keyboards has been significantly improved. We went back from the traditional scissor switch keyboards, which Apple is calling this their Magic Keyboard, and first impressions, it feels a much more solid keyboard than the butterfly switches. The throw is deeper than those butterfly switches, but this one actually gives you a satisfied click. The backlight illumination still illuminates across all the keys perfectly fine. And the material that they use, the texture on the outside keys, It's the same exact texture that was being used on the butterfly switches, it feels like. And then the trackpad underneath, it still is using that iconic large trackpad that's found on the newer generation MacBook Pros. I love this trackpad. This is probably one of the best trackpads on any laptop in today's market. There's plenty of real estate space. Because of this eliminates the need to lift your finger off the trackpad to move the cursor on one side of the screen to the other, and the haptic feedback that it gives you when you click down is incredible. Now when it comes to editing videos, rendering stuff in 4K with Lux or other color correction, this machine can handle it very well. To give you a perspective, I am coming from an iMac with an AMD Radeon Pro 560X graphics card. Doing the conversion switch from that machine to this one, the performance is really noticeable, especially when it comes to rendering times. Also, unlike my previous MacBook Pro, which recently broke, talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, this larger 35% thermo heatsink with those new redesigned fans does a really excellent job in preventing this machine from throttling, a known issue from those other previous models. The surface temperature does get hot during load, so I would recommend to wear jeans in case you have it on your lap. So these are my closing thoughts about this 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro. It's clear that Apple actually listened to a lot of complaints and addressed some of this important stuff. I really do like how the escape key is finally separated from the touch bar, and I'm really glad to find out that the inverted T is back. You can still access the function keys by holding the key right here for your touch bar, and the touch bar itself is still fully customizable. Although longevity wise, just like the previous generation of these newer model MacBooks, future upgrades is gonna be impossible, as iFixit gave this thing a terrible repair score. But if you don't care about this, you're looking for a slim, portable machine with all the latest specs to take with you on the go to get tasks done, this isn't that bad, as I'm able to render these 4K videos just fine by just simply using this machine. Now, in case you were wondering about my MacBook Pro that broke, it's a early model 2016 MacBook Pro 13-inch, and literally everything that could happen happened on that machine. It suffered FlexGate, it suffered the butterfly switches, and it had a GPU motherboard failure. The total cost of repairs literally cost more than what that MacBook was worth, but thankfully, all the stuff was covered under the Apple extended warranty program, so it literally cost me $0 out of pocket without Apple Care. I'll make a separate video about that MacBook in a different video, so stay tuned if you want to hear that story. Now, if you want to check out what applications that I run on this machine, you can go ahead and click on this video. I go through all my favorite free applications that I recommend everybody check out and download on their machine. And then this video over here, that is the video that the YouTube algorithm is recommending specifically for you. They say you're gonna like it. Go ahead and check it out. Comment down below and let me know if YouTube algorithm was correct. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.